Let me tell you something real as we step into this moment. 2026 is not impressed by who you used to be. It doesn't care about your intentions, your plans, or what you meant to do last year. This year is demanding something different from you. It's calling for a version of you that doesn't flinch when it gets uncomfortable. A version of you that doesn't negotiate with weakness. A version of you that doesn't keep saying, next time. Because the truth is, you can't enter a new year carrying an old mindset and expect a new result. See, a lot of people want a new year, but they don't want to become new. They want new opportunities, but they keep old habits. They want new results, but they keep old discipline. They want new blessings, but they keep old thinking. And 2026 is saying, if you want what I have, you've got to let go of what's been holding you back. You can't drag yesterday's excuses into tomorrow's destiny. It doesn't work like that. Some of you have been asking for elevation, but you're still living at the same level mentally. Same reactions, same routines, same circle, same comfort zone. And I'm not saying you're lazy. I'm saying you're familiar. Familiar with struggle. Familiar with almost. Familiar with starting strong and finishing weak. And 2026 is not going to reward familiarity. It's going to reward transformation. This year requires a higher standard. Not from your friends, not from your family, from you. You've got to wake up every day asking yourself, what does the best version of me do today? Not the tired version, not the scared version, not the version that settles, the disciplined version, the focused version, the version that understands that growth doesn't happen by accident, it happens by decision. Because listen, if nothing changes internally, nothing changes externally. You can change the calendar, change the goals, change the affirmations. But if you don't change your habits, your environment, your effort, your priorities, you'll repeat the same year with a different number on it. And I know you're tired of repeating cycles. I know you're tired of feeling like you're capable of more, but stuck doing less. That frustration you feel, that's not a weakness. That's evidence that you're outgrowing who you've been. But outgrowing something means you've got to release it. Some of you need to release comfort. Comfort has been costing you progress. It feels good in the moment, but it robs you in the long run. Growth is uncomfortable. Discipline is uncomfortable. Consistency is uncomfortable. But so is regret. So is being stuck. So is watching other people live the life you know you could have lived if you had just pushed a little harder. Choose your discomfort. And don't get it twisted. Becoming a new version of yourself doesn't mean becoming perfect. It means becoming intentional. It means you stop leaving your life on autopilot. You stop waking up, reacting instead of directing. You stop letting emotions run the day and start letting purpose lead the way. You start doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. 2026 is asking you to tighten up. Tighten your routine, tighten your circle, tighten your focus. Everybody can't go with you. Every habit can't stay. Every distraction doesn't deserve access. You don't need more time. You need more discipline with the time you already have. Because the difference between where you are and where you want to be isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not resources. It's consistency. You've got to understand this: the version of you that created your current life cannot create your next level. That version did what it could with what it knew. But now you know more. You've experienced more. You've survived more. So more is required. Responsibility increases when awareness increases. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you know better, you have to do better. Stop waiting for a sign. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you before you believe in yourself. The work doesn't start when you feel ready. It starts when you decide you're done being average, done being inconsistent, done being afraid of your own potential. Because fear isn't always about failure. Sometimes fear is about success. Fear of responsibility, fear of expectations, fear of becoming someone people can no longer control. But hear me clearly, 2026 is not the year to play small. It's not the year to shrink yourself to fit places you've already outgrown. It's not the year to keep explaining why you're not where you want to be. It's the year to embody the change, to move different, to speak different, to show up different, to work different. You don't need a miracle. You need a mindset shift. You don't need luck. You need alignment. Alignment between what you say you want and what you do every single day. When your habits match your vision, things start to move. When your actions line up with your goals, doors start to open. Not because it's easy, but because you're ready. So as you step into 2026, understand this. The year isn't going to change your life, you are. And the moment you decide to become the person this year demands, everything else will start to follow. 2026 belongs to the version of you you're willing to become, starting now. I need you to hear this with your whole heart, not just your ears. Everything you went through before 2026, every loss, every delay, every closed door, none of it was random. None of it was a mistake. And none of it was sent to destroy you. It was preparation. You thought it was punishment because it hurt. You thought it was rejection because it felt personal. But the truth is, life was building something in you that comfort never could. Some of you are still carrying pain like a question mark, wondering why it had to be you. Why you had to be the one overlooked. Why you had to struggle longer than everyone else. Why you had to fight battles nobody clapped for. But let me tell you something. If it didn't break you, it trained you. If it didn't take you out, it toughened you up. And if you're still standing, it means you were being qualified, not disqualified. See, you don't get strength without resistance. You don't get wisdom without experience. And you don't get endurance without pressure. The nights you cried alone, the mornings you woke up tired but still showed up, the seasons where nothing made sense, those moments were shaping your character. They were teaching you how to function when life doesn't give you clarity, how to move when the outcome isn't guaranteed, how to trust yourself when nobody else does. And I know some of that pain cut deep. It wasn't just situations, it was people. People you trusted, people you believed in, people you thought would stay. And when they left, it didn't just hurt your heart, it shook your confidence. It made you question your worth, your decisions, your direction. But hear me clearly, what walked away made room. What fell apart removed distractions. What you lost created space for what you couldn't receive before. You weren't being delayed, you were being developed. Life slowed you down so you wouldn't arrive unprepared. Because if you had received certain things earlier, they would have crushed you. The responsibility would have overwhelmed you. The pressure would have exposed you. So instead, you were given time to grow, time to mature, time to build emotional strength, mental toughness, and spiritual depth. What you thought was a setback was actually protection. Some of you are still bleeding from wounds You never gave yourself permission to heal. You survived, but you never processed. You moved on, but you never let go. And now you're stepping into a new year, carrying old pain, wondering why you still feel heavy. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means understanding. Understanding that what happened to you doesn't define you, but what you do with it will. Your pain gave you perspective. It taught you who you are when things don't go your way. It revealed your values. It exposed your limits and then pushed you past them. You're stronger now, even if you don't feel like it. You're wiser now, even if you still have questions. You're more resilient now, even if you're tired. And that strength is about to matter, because 2026 is not for the fragile version of you. It's for the forged version, the one who's been through the fire and didn't quit. The one who learned how to get back up without an apology. The one who understands that life doesn't owe you anything, but you owe yourself everything. That's why you went through what you went through. Stop replaying the pain as a loss and start using it as leverage. Every disappointment taught you what not to do again. Every failure showed you where to grow. Every delay built patience. Every lonely season forced you to develop self-reliance. Nothing was wasted. Not the tears, not the struggle, not the silence. And listen, your story is not meant to shame you. It's meant to strengthen others. One day, somebody is going to survive because you didn't quit. Somebody is going to push through because you kept going. Somebody is going to believe again because you refused to give up when it hurt. But before your pain can become someone else's breakthrough, it has to become your fuel. You can't keep treating your past like an anchor when it was meant to be a foundation. You don't build forward by staring backward. Take the lessons, take the growth, take the grit, but leave the guilt, leave the regret, leave the bitterness. Those things don't belong in your future. The reason you're still here is because there's more required from you, more impact, more discipline, more courage. You didn't survive all of that just to play small now. You didn't endure all of that just to doubt yourself at the finish line. Everything you went through was training for what you're about to carry. So when 2026 tests you, and it will, you won't break because you've already been tested. When pressure shows up, you won't fold because pressure made you. When fear whispers, you'll move anyway because pain already taught you how to function scared. You are not behind. You are not damaged. You are not disqualified. You are prepared. Let me be honest with you, because somebody needs the truth more than they need comfort right now. If you're waiting to feel motivated before you move, you're going to waste 2026. Feelings are inconsistent. Energy is inconsistent. Motivation is emotional, and emotions change. But progress doesn't belong to people who feel good every day. It belongs to people who move even when they don't. Too many of us have been negotiating with how we feel. I'll start when I'm ready. I'll go hard when I get inspired. I'll lock in when things calm down. But let me tell you something, life doesn't calm down. There is no perfect moment. There is no magical surge of motivation coming to save you. What separates those who win from those who watch is not how they feel. It's what they do despite how they feel. Some days you're going to be tired. Some days you're going to be discouraged. Some days you're going to question yourself. And if your progress depends on motivation, those days will stop you. But discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline shows up anyway. Discipline says, I made a commitment and I'm honoring it. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. You don't need to feel confident to take action. Confidence is built after you move. You don't need clarity to start. Clarity comes through action. You don't need perfect conditions. Momentum creates better conditions. Waiting has been your comfort zone, and comfort has been quietly costing you your future. Think about it. How many opportunities have you delayed because you were waiting to feel ready? How many dreams are still sitting in your mind because you were waiting for motivation to hit? How many versions of you have died because you kept saying, one day turns into 1 year. 1 year turns into regret. Action is what separates intention from results. Everybody has good intentions. Everybody talks about what they're going to do. But movement is rare. Movement is uncomfortable. Movement exposes you. Movement forces you to confront your weaknesses. That's why most people avoid it. But the moment you move, even scared, even unsure, even tired, something shifts. Momentum shows up, and momentum has a way of silencing doubt. Stop waiting for applause before you perform. Stop waiting for support before you commit. Some of the most important moves you'll make in 2026 will be lonely. Nobody will clap. Nobody will notice. Nobody will understand. And that's okay. You're not doing it for validation. You're doing it for transformation. There are going to be days in 2026 where you're not inspired at all, but you still need to show up. Days where you don't feel strong, but you still need to train. Days where you don't feel focused, but you still need to work. That's not weakness, that's maturity. That's what grown discipline looks like. And let me tell you something else. Waiting for motivation is often just fear in disguise. Fear of failing, fear of looking foolish, fear of being judged, fear of giving your best and still falling short. So you tell yourself you're waiting for the right time, but really you're waiting to feel safe. And growth is not safe. Growth requires risk. Growth requires exposure. Growth requires action before certainty. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be faithful to the process, faithful to the work, faithful to the routine, faithful to the small steps that don't feel exciting but create results over time. Small disciplines done daily will outperform big bursts of motivation every single time. The people who win don't have more motivation, they have better habits. They've trained themselves to move even when the fire isn't there. They understand that feelings follow action, not the other way around. You don't wait to feel like it, you do it, and the feeling catches up. And listen, consistency doesn't mean perfection. You're going to miss days. You're going to stumble. You're going to have moments where you fall short. That's not failure. That's part of the process. Failure is quitting. Failure is stopping because you didn't feel motivated. Progress belongs to the people who get back up quickly and keep moving. 2026 is going to reward execution, not excuses. It's going to reward those who take responsibility, not those who wait for motivation to show up like a guest who never arrives. This year belongs to the movers, the doers, the ones who understand that action is the cure for fear, doubt, and hesitation. So, when you wake up and you don't feel like it, move anyway. When your mind tells you to wait, move anyway. When you're tired, when you're scared, when you're uncertain, move anyway. Because every step you take builds momentum, and momentum will carry you further than motivation ever could. If you want 2026 to change, stop waiting and start moving. This is where it all comes together. And I need you locked in right here. Because at some point, Thinking has to stop and deciding has to start. 2026 is not a year you try your way through. It's a year you decide your way through. And there is a difference. Trying leaves room for excuses. Trying leaves an exit door open. Deciding shuts the door, locks it, and says, no matter what, I'm going forward. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They don't fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they never fully decide. They stay half committed, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They want change, but not enough to sacrifice for it. They want results, but not enough to endure discomfort. And life doesn't respond to half decisions. Life responds to clarity. A real decision changes behavior. When you truly decide, your actions shift without you having to force them. You stop negotiating with yourself every morning. You stop asking, should I? And start saying, I must. That's the energy 2026 requires. Not hype, not wishes, certainty. You've made temporary decisions before. You got emotional. You got inspired. You promised yourself, this time is different. But when it got hard, when it got lonely, when the results didn't show up fast, you pulled back. Not because you couldn't handle it, but because you never removed the option to quit. You kept a backup plan for comfort. This year, there can't be a backup plan. The moment you give yourself an escape route, your mind will look for it the second pressure shows up. Breakthrough doesn't come from convenience. It comes from commitment. And commitment means you settle it now before the resistance shows up. Decide that 2026 is the year you finish what you start. Decide that you're done being inconsistent. Decide that you're no longer available for distractions that drain your potential. Decide that you're going to do the work, whether it feels good or not. Decision is what turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. And understand this, once you decide, you're going to be tested. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because life always checks commitment. You'll be tempted. You'll be distracted. You'll be challenged. Old habits will try to pull you back. Old versions of you will try to resurface. That's not a sign to stop. That's confirmation you're moving forward. Stop waiting for confidence to show up before you decide. Confidence is built after the decision, not before it. Stop waiting for permission. Nobody is coming to hand you validation. Nobody is going to give you a green light. The decision has to be internal, silent, firm. Some of you have been waiting for circumstances to change before you commit. But circumstances change after you commit. The world doesn't rearrange itself for people who hesitate. It responds to people who move with conviction. When you decide, you start showing up differently. You start carrying yourself differently. You start protecting your time differently. You start respecting your own potential. 2026 is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters with intensity. It's about narrowing your focus and going all in. Too many of you are spreading your energy across too many things and wondering why nothing is working. A decision brings focus. Focus brings power. And let me say this clearly, your breakthrough is not going to come from one big moment. It's going to come from a series of small decisions honored daily. Deciding to wake up when you don't feel like it. Deciding to train when nobody is watching. Deciding to stay disciplined when shortcuts are available. Deciding to stay patient when progress feels slow. Those daily decisions compound. They stack. They build something unstoppable. But it starts with one defining moment where you say, this is my year, and I'm not debating it anymore. Stop asking yourself if you're capable. You are. Stop asking if it's too late. It's not. Stop asking if you deserve it. You do. The only question left is whether you're willing to commit at the level your goals require. Because once you decide, excuses lose their power. Fear loses its voice. Doubt gets quiet. Not because it disappears, but because your decision is louder. So don't tiptoe into 2026. Don't test it. Don't treat it like another year. You'll see how it goes. Decide. Decide to show up fully. Decide to stay consistent. Decide to become the person who finishes. 2026 doesn't need your hope. It needs your commitment.